Hello, welcome back to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel and please like my videos and also check my channel for other updates. The last update about Twist of Fate. Abhi's family moves into Pragya's house because of Tanu's plan, and Rhea tells Siddharth that they need to separate. Let's continue. Rhea tells Siddharth that she is doing this for both of them. If they stay separate, then maybe they will get clarity. Siddharth gets a call and goes. Rhea thinks that why don't he understand that I am not happy with him. She thinks that she wants to just stay with Ranbir and she wants to be happy with him. Grandma comes to Prachi and asks if she has 2 minutes for her. Prachi asks, do you want tea? Grandma says no. Prachi asks, why are you in tension? Grandma thinks of Rhea and says, didn't you find it strange that Gali came into the prasad so that you get scolded? Prachi says, who will do this? Soni? Grandma says it is Rhea. Prachi asks why is she thinking like this due to the past and says that Rhea is a changed person and she herself told her. She says she is my sister and she needs a family, and yeah, I am a family and she doesn't want to talk to father and mother. She says I hope all the problems get solved too and I am a sister here. Prachi says I have seen love and respect in her eyes for me. These kids and competition doesn't matter to her. I just matter to her. Grandma says I have seen Rhea. Rhea comes there and asks, did I disturb you both? Prachi says she was doing work. Rhea asks her to come with her and have rest. She takes Prachi from there. Grandma thinks that Rhea is just like before and she thinks why others don't see what I am saying. Rhea takes Prachi to the room and asks her to talk to Ranbir. Prachi says I will talk to him later. Rhea thinks that she misses him and calls him. Ranbir picks the call. Rhea says we are missing you and asks when is he coming home. Ranbir says I will be coming home in the next 30 minutes and I will bring Siddharth. He tells Prachi that Siddharth was remembering her and he was telling him that if Prachi would have been here, then she would have given him good advice. Rhea asks Prachi if she worked in the office. Ranbir says that Prachi worked in our office and says that mom and dad doesn't know about it. He says they just got Junija project because of Prachi and says if she would have come here, then she can help. Rhea says she did not tell me that my sister is so talented. She asks him to come home and says bye, we love you and ends the call before Prachi could say anything. Rhea thinks that I talked to Ranbir and I felt good. I had to say we love you. I will say I love you to him soon and he will tell me I love you too. Abhi gets up from the bed. Pragya asks where are you going to? Abhi says to the mountains for trekking. He asks if she will come with him. Pragya thinks that he is going to search for the wine and thinks that she will stop him. He searches for the wine bottles. Pragya asks what is he searching for? Abhi says nothing and says he is going to meet his friends. Pragya asks him to go in the morning. Abhi says if I will drink in the morning. Pragya asks him to call and talk to them. Abhi says they have bet with me for 300 rupees. Pragya says I will do the online transfer. Abhi says I am fine now. Pragya asks him to prove it. He says I am fine and he touches the flower. He asks if she is fitness coach, asking him to prove it. Pragya asks him to prove and says you are unwell and that is why you cannot go anywhere. Abhi says sometimes you become a teacher, a nurse and etc. He says who am I that you are stopping me? He says you are keeping your eye on me and spying on me so that I don't drink. He says you are showing the right on me and trying to stop me. Pragya says I have stopped you as I don't want you to drink in this house, but I don't care if you drink or not. He asks where is my bottle? Pragya says I don't know. Tanu keeps the wine bottles in the shelf and thinks that she will give him to save his life. She says he goes mad when he doesn't get the wine and he will be shaking up and restless. Then he wants what he wants. Abhi's hand shakes up and he puts his hand in his pocket to hide and goes inside from there. Siddharth thinks about Rhea saving him from drug peddler and thinks that she did not want to marry me and married me in helplessness. He thinks who can be in her heart. Ranbir comes there and says I am, and who else? He says I said that I was the only one who come without knocking on the door. Siddharth asks Ranbir if he knows Rhea well. Ranbir says I know her from childhood. Siddharth asks if she loves someone else. Ranbir says I don't know since 2 years. Siddharth says I feel that she loves someone else. Ranbir says it is not like that and recalls Rhea's words. He thinks that in your case, you did not get time to know her and asks her to spend time with her and know her. Ranbir asks if something happened that you are thinking. Siddharth says he is getting doubt since few days. Ranbir asks him to clear it, else it will become misunderstanding and the fight and argument start then. He asks him to talk to Rhea. Siddharth says we don't talk. Ranbir says communication sort out the things and says he is telling this due to his experience. He asks him to come with him. Siddharth says I cannot come home as I have Juneja files to do. He says I have to go home and get something for my Prachi. He goes home and tells Prachi that he has brought Chiki for his Chiki. Ranbir asks her to sit and says I saw your feet and it was looking sad, so I brought something for your beautiful feet. Prachi asks what? Shoes? He says no and shows anklet. Rhea hears them and gets jealous. He makes her wear the anklet. Prachi says you were thinking about me. Ranbir says yes. Rhea thinks that I called him home and he is gifting Prachi. She thinks if he looks at me with love, then I can do anything for him. Ranbir asks for the present and asks her to come near him and give him kiss. Prachi says someone will come. Ranbir says nobody will know. He is about to kiss her. Rhea pushes the vase and asks who kept it on the way and calls Sony and asks her to move it from the way. Ranbir and Prachi goes to their room. Rhea gets angry and comes to her room. She takes the knife and keeps it on her wrist. Rhea was trying to arm herself with the knife and then throws it on the wall. Rhea says that she thinks of attempting suicide before and she thinks I will not do the same mistake again. I will not die, but that Prachi will die and I will live with Ranbir. She says suicide is a sign of weakness. I will win and I will get my Ranbir. Abhi searches for the wine in the room and gets desperate. Pragya looks at him and goes behind him. She calls the doctor and says that he is searching for the alcohol every time. The doctor says you have to stop him and says the addiction is bad for an alcoholic and says today he would have a bad time, but once he gets rid of the addiction, he will be fine. She says his hand are shaking up. The doctor says that the wine is just like a poison for him. Pragya says I will stop him. Abhi asks Pragya where did she hide the wine bottles. Pragya says I did not know. Abhi says what do you think? That you can control me as you are feeding me food. He says he will go. Pragya says I haven't eaten any wine and says I am stopping you from drinking wine. He asks her to go from his sight. Pragya asks him to divert himself and fight with her if he wants. Pragya says I want to stop you from drinking as I worry for you. Abhi says you care for me and asks if she is drunk and asks if she knows what is worry. He says when I heard about your accident, I searched for you everywhere madly, even after the police closed the case. Abhi says when I couldn't search for you, I started drinking. He says why didn't you stop me then? He says when I came to argue, you pushed me away and says when you don't care for me then why are you doing this? Pragya says I did not do it intentionally. Abhi asks her not to act with him and she should not show concern for him. Pragya says if you are stubborn, then I am also stubborn and I will not let you do what you wanted. Abhi says I am cursing God for making me love you. He asks her to go and not to come in front of him. Grandma watches everything. Abhi says she is stopping me from drinking wine and you know what happens to me if I don't drink and says everything makes fun here. Pragya wipes her tears and thinks that she will bear his anger but she will not let him drink. Aliyah and Tanu sees everything. Aliyah says we should ask Taiji now. Taiji asks now. Tanu says Abhi wants to drink now and Pragya has eaten the bottles. Mitali says how to stop Abhi. We can't live peacefully here. Tanu says if Abhi wants to drink, then he shall drink. Mitali says then why is Pragya stopping him? She says we shall make arrangements so that he can drink. Aliyah says we shall take the advantage of the situation. Taiji asks why are you asking me to talk to Grandma? Tanu asks her to go and tell Grandma that Pragya is stopping Abhi from drinking and he is getting unwell. Aliyah says either Pragya or Sushma will reply to Grandma when Grandma scolds Pragya. She says when my brother comes to know about this, then Abhi will get angry and scold Pragya. Tanu says everyone would fight and Abhi will stand for Grandma and Pragya will take stand for Sushma. Mitali says why will Grandma hear Mommy G? Tanu says she shall show the talent now and says we shall talk in such a way that Grandma will get instigated. Taiji says if Abhi leaves from here, then how will we get our property on our name? Tanu says we have planned to make Abhi and Pragya fight daily. Aliyah says we will snatch the house from Pragya and we will send her back to where she has come. Mitali says if Pragya breaks the contract, Tanu says then she has to give them 6,000. She asks Taiji to go and show her talent. Taiji says I will do what I have learned from Mitali. Aliyah calls Taiji and asks her to take Mitali with her. Taiji says I can do it. Aliyah asks her to take Mitali. Taiji asks if you have doubt on me. Mitali says you have said that you have learned this from me and asks her to take her with her. Taiji says okay, but only I will talk and you shall agree with me. They go. Aliyah thinks that Pragya made my brother go against me, that he wants to break relationship with her. She says that she will make her brother go against Pragya so that he will break his relationship with her and also throws her out of the house. Pragya thinks of Abhi's words. Shagun comes there and asks Pragya if the guest will stay there forever. Pragya says yes. Shagun says that she likes Abhi sir, but Tanu and Aliyah and others are troubling her a lot. Pragya apologized to Shagun on their behalf. Other helper comes there and asks, do you need krokosh? Pragya says no. The helper tells that her brother's wife left him when he got habitual to drinking. She asks her not to leave Abhi sir. Pragya says she will not. Grandma thinks of Abhi's words. Taiji and Mitali comes there. Taiji tells Grandma that they have done a big mistake by coming here. Grandma asks, what are you saying? If you are not getting good food and clothes here. She says you are missing Basti actually, as you don't have to work here. She says you both want this always. Taiji says not at this cost. Mitali says we are worried. Taiji says I will say, but don't think of us wrong. She says I feel that there is no love in Pragya's heart for Abhi. Grandma says you are thinking wrong and says Pragya is doing this as she loves and cares for him. Mitali says we cannot see Abhi in pain. Taiji says what kind of care is this, that she couldn't see Abhi's pain. Mitali says Pragya wants to see him hurt. Taiji says Pragya doesn't love Abhi like us and says he is in pain like fish without water. She says your heart might be strong, but not mine. I can't see this and I will go to my room. Mitali says if Grandma gets affected by our words. Taiji says now she is doubtful. Pragya comes to Abhi and sees him drinking. She asks from where did he get the bottle. He asks her to give the bottle and says that he will leave it later. Pragya says I can't see you drinking. Abhi asks her not to make him get angry and says he doesn't want to get angry with her. Pragya says I can bear your anger, but I cannot see you drinking. Abhi asks her not to tell him that she still cares for him. Pragya looks at him. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Please don't forget to like this video and share it. And please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out my other videos. Thank you.